Yo, and it's breaking news. Diddy has been found not guilty of the most serious charges. Which is, let's see, Shindy Combs was found not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering on Wednesday. The 55-year-old music mogul faced life in prison if convicted of the top charges, racketeering and conspiracy. The music mogul was convicted of flying people around the country, including his girlfriend, and paid male sex workers to engage in sexual encounters and felony violations of the Federal Mann Act that carries a sentence of up to 20 years in prison. But the jury of 8 men and 4 women acquitted Combs of racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking charges related to the allegations that he used his money, power, and frightening physique force to manipulate his girlfriends into hundreds of drug-fueled sex marathons with the men. Combs and his defense team argued that the women were willing participants and that none of the violence justified the severity of the charges. Diddy has been found not guilty of the most serious charges against him, racketeering, conspiracy. I mean, yeah, that was a stretch. They were trying to get him. And I think the kind of the government, they embarrassed themselves. All that taxpayers' money gone into ramming down this poor man, this poor old man's gates. We're going through all his laundry, his dirty underwear, his saves, smashing his house up. I mean, they should give him some compensation for that. Especially the gates. I mean, it's horrible. He has also been acquitted of sex trafficking and of his girlfriend Cassie Ventura and Jane. I think they brought that through just to kind of like draw the money out of him so he could like pay up, which he did. And then I think the government just ran with it because like, she was a willing participant in these freak offs, and obviously the relationship broke down, and afterwards she started seeing him with other women, treating them better than her. And you get a bit of jealousy and envy, and look, they almost threw the guy 20 years in prison. Just out of envy and jealousy, you're gonna come back. I guess they wanted some compensational money for everything that went through over the years. So, I think all this could have been avoided if Diddy just paid up. Because at the end of the day, he did pay up. He paid Cassie the money. But he went through all this, almost getting 20 years in prison, just because he didn't want to pay up. It goes to show how weird the world is, because got someone that's near on a billionaire, and he doesn't want to pay someone maybe 15, 20 million. So he'd rather risk his whole reputation, which is down. It's in the drain right now. Even now he's found not guilty of the most serious charges. When it comes to brands, we look at this guy. He had like I wouldn't say he had a really clean image, but we never knew about the beatings, the drugs. Now you can't really. I guess it's hip hop. It's all about drugs, but I don't know about beating women. Would be something that you want to tick on your box. Hey, let's hire this man that used to beat a woman. Used to beat women in hotel rooms. You know what I mean? I mean, he could say he changed, but it's gonna be a long way before he gets brung back into the fold. Hip hop would always accept him because, like, hip hop. Who doesn't take drugs in hip hop? You know what I mean? But his actual brand transcended hip hop to the point where he was in movies, commercials, and he was brand safe to a point. But now we're looking at this guy like this guy's muddy. Luckily, he always have his money as a cushion, so he can sit down and disappear for the rest of his life. He's fine. But as for his public image, it's never gonna be the same again. It's sad. Let's see this video on Diddy was convicted of transportation of prostitution, which carries a sentence of up to 20 years. They won't give him 20 years. It's the first time offense for this guy. He's got all the money in the world. No, they're not gonna give this guy 20 years. You know, so I want to know what's gonna happen with all these documentaries about Diddy, and he got all these civil suits going around. I think most likely he had enough money to dismiss them or pay them off, and he just wants to get on with his life. He's been burnt enough, so what he's gonna do, he's just gonna pay them off, and he wants to get on with his life. So people like Little Rod, clearly they just want to pay out, and he's gonna just pay off Little Rod, or I think they might just dismiss these lawsuits, because a lot of the lawsuits they've been resubmitted, and things have been taken out and put back in and taken out, and Little Rod's lawsuit looks a bit flimsy now. So I think that might just be dismissed, and then the rest, he gonna pay off some of these people. I know he paid off other people before, but he doesn't want it to go into the millions, so he's gonna pay off the rest of the people. Gonna be paid off, and the rest just gonna be dismissed. And Diddy will get on with his life. He'll be walking around. He'll never be looked at the same as we did before, even though beforehand, when we looked at him, we always knew he was slightly on the verge of a bit of a snake, a bit dodgy from what we know what he was doing with his artists, and just other things that happened in the past, like beating people, you know. But at the end of the day, look, I want to see what Gene Deal has to say about this, because it's like he's been the one that's saying, "Oh, Diddy's finished," for years. So yeah, let's go and see what happens. It's the saga continues. Bad Boy for life. I'm not a Bad Boy fan though, but we'll see what happens. All right, I'm out. And like and subscribe, because I'm trying something new. There's a lot of people doing this, but I'm not the most intelligent person. Just giving my perspective. So thank you.